Thank you. Firstly, thank you so much for reaching before time. So thank you so much for events like this. It's very important to be on time and start on time. Welcome you all, and I must say, really delighted to see the turnout. This goes to prove, the dominant interest that public policy gathers in our country. So just to introduce myself, my name is Ram JV. I manage the partnerships and strategic alliances for ISPP. So before we get on to the main subject, I just wanted to touch upon why exactly, we all are here and then we are gathering with one of the very interesting topics and having such, elite speakers with us who will be moderated by a professor. The reason is actually the school, ISPP, the founding class will commence in the month of August. And we are already done with 3 rounds of applications. Round 4 is due for 30th of June. Application is still live. And I must say that we have seen a very good traction, interesting pool of profiles coming in, people who are applying. There is a diverse mix. Very interesting to see, and that's very encouraging. So what we have done is, this is a unique program, with a blend of design and management, which is getting introduced to our country. It's very important to make sure that when a unique program is coming up, we are pretty much aligned with what industry is expecting. And when I say industry, it is comprised of government sector, multiple sectors actually, corporate, everything. So though the topic says corporate, but it's like we are going to discuss today on multiple sectors, it's not restricted to only corporates. So when we have had very interesting meetings and, we call them partners actually, they have extended their support to the school through multiple avenues. We have already conducted workshops and webinars, with the support of our partners. What has come up is, I think a program like this is very, very important. It's the need of the hour for the country. And we should make sure that it is aligned with the expectations of the industry. A product that is coming out of ISPP should be market ready. So that's the whole idea of, coming up with this institute. And so coming to the subject, today what exactly is going to happen. So our eminent panelists will be sharing their valuable perspectives on diverse aspects pertaining to public policy, including the domain as a career path, the symbiotic role of the corporate sector and public policy, at present, as well as its prognostic growth, amongst many other associated nuances. And now I'm pleased to actually introduce the panelists. Mr. Agarwal Ashish, Senior Director and Head Public Policy, NASSCOM, and Mr. Krishnaswamy Chetan, Country Head Public Policy, Google, Ms. Hariharan Vinita, Government Relations and Public Policy, World Bank, Mr. Kagade Mandar, Head Public Policy and Outreach, Rupee Power, and Mr. Bhagat Arun, President Corporate Affairs and Advocacy, GMR. We would like to thank you all for taking your time out of your busy schedule. Really pleased to have you. Thank you so much. And the moderator for our discussion today is Professor Rajesh Chakrabarty, the Dean of Jindal Global Business School, Jindal Global University. So thank you so much for agreeing, much appreciated. Thanks a lot. Now a quick rundown about the event, what's going to happen. So following this, we'll have a welcome note delivered by Dr. Parth J. Shah, who is the founder and director, Indian School of Public Policy, and President, Center for Civil Society. And followed by the panel discussion, which will be for 1 hour or extended by 15 minutes more, and then followed by the Q&A, question and answers, and then followed by the networking lunch we have. So just a disclaimer before I leave. Please restrict your questions during the question and answers only pertaining to the topic of the discussion we are going to have today. Anything pertaining to the school, ISPP, the admissions process, our entire team is here. We can definitely discuss during the networking lunch in case you have any questions, or you can as well write to us at contact@ispp.org.in. So with this, I would like to request Dr. Parth J. Shah to deliver the welcome note. Thank you.
Good morning and namaste. I also join Ram in welcoming you all to this wonderful event. And of course, thank the panelists who have very graciously agreed to be part of this program and talk about the career in public policy. I think what I want to do is just give you a quick introduction to ISPP, what's our vision behind it, why we are starting this program, and what does the program contain. So I know many of you are potential applicants. Some of you obviously have applied, and I met a couple of you who already have been accepted in the program. So it will give you sort of good way of thinking about the overall structure and the vision behind the program. And that may lead to also some of the discussion we are going to have in terms of career in public policy. So our larger vision behind ISPP is to build a 21st century education institution. Right? So our thinking was largely around that bigger vision, that how can you build a 21st century education institution? What does it take? What would it look like? Right? And we sort of distill that thinking in three basic parameters. This is what, for us, a 21st century education institution would look like. Right? First one is specialization. So we feel strongly that any postgraduate or graduate, depending on which term you are used to, right, after a first degree, any second degree education that is going to be offered would have to be, that institution, that program, would have to be a very specialized program, focused only on that one subject that they are offering. Right? If you look around, the MBA programs actually usually are standalone programs. Right? They don't have to be part of a larger university. Right? So we have sort of created one line of training, post-graduation training, which is specialized. Right? And those programs do quite well in giving what you need to be a good manager in the system. Right? So we also feel that public policy has to build its own base. It cannot be relied on other departments of the university and just pull faculty from those departments. Right? And that's the first thing, I think, which is unique to 21st century institution, is that you really have to be focused on core competency and core area of specialization, right? And build the institution around that. And so ISPP, in a sense, is a standalone public policy school, right? The only thing we do is public policy, right? Yes, there are people with different backgrounds, obviously different experiences, will come and teach, be part of the program, but all of them are focused on one single purpose, which is to do public policy, right? And train people in public policy. Right? So that's the, I think, first key element of a 21st century institution. The second, and this is obviously more in the context of India, it could be different in different parts of the world, is to be asset light and the talent heavy. What you see in India, that much of investment that happens in an education institution happens in the assets, right? You have to buy 20 acres of land, 10,000 square feet of built-up area before you can do anything else, before you even hire a first professor, right? So much of the investment is in the assets, right? Which, if you think about it, in the 21st century, you don't really need to have them, right? Of course, you need a comfortable classroom, but beyond that, much of the learning would happen in many different parts of the places. It doesn't have to be in one single campus of the old type, right? And so we feel that we are going to be asset light, right? But talent heavy. That means invest in the people who are going to come there to learn, right? And invest in the people who are going to be teaching there, right? And therefore, design a program which is focused on investment in people and not in property. Right? So that's, which is very, of course, in a sense, is very contextual to Indian situation, given the kind of rules and regulations that we have. Right? And the rules regulations change. Some of these things would also change. And the third, and I think probably the most important one, and which is what I think personally I am very keen about, is to create personalized education. Right? There's a lot of talk about personalized, customized education at the school level. Right? But there's not really that much talk at the higher education level. Right? And I feel that this kind of postgraduate program would have to be designed so that it provides a very customized education experience to the people in a context in which they need it. Right? There are two things I would cite to give you an example of what I mean by personalized or customized education. Right? One is a big debate we had about specialization. What are the fields of specialty we are going to offer in the course, right? We're going to be offering courses in education policy, health policy, urban policy, environment policy, right? There are, of course, many, many domains of this kind, right? And the way we are approaching that gives you a sort of illustration of what I mean by personalized education. So instead of giving you one or two courses, which is probably what we can do in a one-year program in any of these disciplines or domains of public policy, right? What we are doing is that we are going to ask students, that which one or two domains they are most interested in, right? Suppose let's take one as education, right? So you say, I'm interested in education policy, and that's what I really want to do after ISPP. What we would do is that we would have one mentor who will look after the education domain, right? So all students who are interested in education domain would work with that one single mentor, who is the domain expert. Right? Now you're taking a course which is, say, in data analytics, right? And there'll be assignments given in the course. Right? The assignments that you do in the data analytics course would be based on what the data is in education domain, right? So you would get training in education domain, not because you took one single course in education policy as a specialization, but because you've done several courses and assignments in those courses which are focused on education domain. Right? And therefore, you'll get much diverse experience across these courses and how they relate to your area of interest, which is, in this case, is education. Right? So that's one we are thinking about. Personalized education is how do you specialize in your own specific area of public policy. And second example I have, and this is still, I think, a lot of discussion within the program and with the academic council, some of the members you saw on the screen, right, is how to add practical component. Right? In most programs, you will find there is a